Miss Ellis told Cardi B multiple times, I am not recording you. I am not telling anybody that you are here. I'm simply doing my job. And instead of maybe agreeing or investigating further, Miss Almanzar, Cardi B, got angry and started yelling and cursing and spitting on Miss Ellis and calling her different words, using the N-word to disrespect her, calling her the B-word, calling her fat, anything to try to trigger her and make her upset and embarrass her. Sometimes...
Imagine the scene where the eyes of the entire world are glued to a courtroom where $20 million are hanging in the balance and the tension is thick enough to choke the air out of the room. The drama is reaching a breaking point as legal giants clash in a final showdown that could redefine the career of one of the biggest names in music history. But while lawyers are shouting and accusations are flying like heat-seeking missiles, something truly mind-blowing is reportedly happening at the center of the storm. Word is leaking out from the gallery that Cardi B was seen struggling to even keep her eyes open during the most critical moments of her own civil assault trial. Yes, you heard that right. While her future and a massive fortune are being debated in front of a judge, the queen of the charts is allegedly on the verge of drifting into a nap. Fans are paralyzed with disbelief, and the internet is absolutely exploding with theories about what this could mean. Is this a calculated display of ultimate confidence or signs of a total emotional burnout? The stakes have never been higher, the betrayal is personal, and the fallout from this courtroom snooze fest is about to send shockwaves through the industry that nobody saw coming. The energy inside the courtroom was heavy with a kind of tension that usually precedes a massive explosion, because $20 million is not just a number, it is a life-changing fortune that has everyone in Cardi B's inner circle on edge. As the closing arguments began, the legal teams were practically spitting fire, detailing every single accusation of a nightclub altercation that has haunted the superstar for years. The atmosphere was thick with the scent of high-stakes litigation and the muffled whispers of spectators who couldn't believe the intensity of the verbal combat happening right in front of them. But as the plaintiff's lawyer began to weave a tale of supposed chaos and physical confrontation, all eyes suddenly shifted from the podium to the defense table where the rap queen herself was sitting. Reports are swirling that instead of a look of concern or a sharp glare of defiance, Cardi looked like she was fighting the ultimate battle against her own eyelids. People sitting just a few feet away claimed they saw her head start to dip in a way that suggested she was drifting far away from the legal jargon and the heavy accusations. It was a moment that sent a shockwave through the room, because how could anyone be that calm or that exhausted when their reputation and millions of dollars are being debated by the highest-paid lawyers in the city? The emotional conflict in the room was palpable as family members and close friends watched in a state of pure confusion. There were whispers that Cardi had been working around the clock on new music and dealing with the constant pressure of motherhood. But even with those explanations, the optics of nearly falling asleep during a final plea were absolutely wild. Her legal team reportedly tried to maintain their composure, but you could see the subtle shifts in their body language as they realized the jury might be watching their client lose interest in her own defense. A close associate of the family was overheard saying that the fatigue was real and that the mental toll of being under a microscope for weeks had finally pushed her to a breaking point where her body simply shut down. Meanwhile, the opposing side seemed to feed off the perceived lack of respect, sharpening their tone as they painted a picture of a celebrity who felt she was above the very laws that govern everyone else. The fans outside the courthouse were already picking sides on their phones, with some defending her as a hard-working human being who is simply tired of the constant legal harassment, while others were calling it the ultimate. The drama intensified when a brief sidebar was called, and the reality of the situation began to set in for everyone involved. Some reports suggest that a heated exchange took place in the hallway between members of her entourage who were arguing over why she hadn't been given more time to rest before such a pivotal day in court. The personal stakes here are massive because a loss in this civil trial wouldn't just be a financial blow. It would be a permanent stain on her brand that could affect future deals and partnerships. The accusations involve a level of aggression that Cardi has worked hard to move past, and seeing her seemingly drift off during the description of those events created a surreal contrast that left the media in a frenzy. Emotions ran high as her sister and other family members tried to shield her from the prying eyes of the cameras during the breaks, but the narrative had already started to take on a life of its own. Everyone was asking the same question: was she really that tired, or was this a strategic move to show the jury that she found the entire case to be a boring waste of time? The betrayals felt by those who expected a more focused presence were evident in the sharp glances being exchanged across the aisle, and the courtroom felt like a pressure cooker ready to blow at any second as the clock ticked toward the final verdict. The reactions from the gallery were a mix of suppressed laughter and genuine concern, as the weight of the $20 million claim seemed to hang over everyone except the woman at the center of it all. One spectator mentioned that it felt like watching a movie where the lead character decides to ignore the climax of their own story, creating a sense of suspense that was almost unbearable. The legal arguments were reaching a fever pitch with talk of hospital bills, emotional distress, and the alleged misuse of power, but the visual of Cardi fighting sleep became the focal point of every headline being drafted in real time. Her lawyers were reportedly seen leaning in and whispering urgently to her, perhaps trying to snap her back into the reality of the high-stakes environment before the jury took notice of her heavy gaze. It was a bizarre and captivating scene that highlighted the immense pressure celebrities face when their private lives and public personas collide in a court of law. The air was thick with the expectation of a dramatic twist, and as the afternoon sun faded, the exhaustion in Cardi's eyes seemed to symbolize the weariness of a long and grueling legal war that has left everyone involved feeling completely drained and divided. The tension in the courtroom seemed to reach its absolute peak during the middle of the afternoon session as the plaintiff's legal team began to describe the alleged physical and emotional trauma in agonizing detail. Reports from those inside the room say that while the atmosphere was heavy with accusations, the most shocking sight was the contrast between the high-energy legal battle and Cardi B's visible struggle to stay conscious. She was seen resting her chin in her hand, her eyes fluttering in a way that had everyone in the gallery whispering. It felt as if the entire weight of the world was resting on her shoulders, and her body was simply demanding a moment of peace despite the millions of dollars on the line. The drama of the trial has been building for years, rooted in a past altercation that some claim was a simple misunderstanding, while others insist was a clear violation of personal safety. According to those who were watching closely, the moment she nearly drifted off became a turning point in the court of public opinion, with people questioning if she was showing a lack of respect for the process or if she was just a victim of extreme exhaustion. Emotions ran high as her lawyers tried to shift the focus back to the evidence, but the image of a superstar nearly sleeping through her own trial was already becoming the primary story of the day. As the lawyers continued their heated arguments, the personal stakes for everyone involved became even more apparent. Friends and family members in the courtroom were reportedly seen exchanging worried glances as the celebrity rapper appeared to succumb to the fatigue of the long-running legal battle. The accusations against her are serious, involving a staggering $20 million demand that could impact her financial empire significantly. Yet, despite the gravity of the situation, the physical toll of her career and her personal life seemed to be winning the fight. A source close to the situation mentioned that the pressure of maintaining a public image while dealing with such a heavy legal burden has left her completely drained. Her sister and her closest associates were present, providing a silent support system that felt like it was holding her up as she sat through hour after hour of testimony. The family was left divided in their reactions, with some showing frustration at the slow pace of the trial and others clearly distressed by the way Cardi was being portrayed by the opposing counsel. It was a scene of pure chaos masked by the formal rules of the court, where every blink and every sigh was being monitored for some hidden meaning. Unexpected twists began to emerge as the closing arguments dragged on, with new claims about the night in question being brought to light that had never been heard before. The plaintiff's attorney spoke with an exaggerated passion, claiming that the alleged assault had caused permanent damage that deserved the full $20 million payout. But even as these heavy words were being spoken, The reports of Cardi's near-sleep state continued to dominate the conversation among the media members present. It created an incredibly strange dynamic where the person being accused of such an intense act seemed to be the least bothered by the description of it. Some fans are shocked by the reports, taking to social media to argue that this is proof of her innocence because someone who is guilty would be terrified and alert. Others, however, are seeing it as a sign that the entire trial is being treated like a joke by the defense. The betrayal felt by the plaintiff was vocalized through her legal team, who pointed out the perceived indifference as a reason for the jury to lean in their favor. The battle lines were drawn deep in the carpeted floor of that courtroom, and the air was thick with the scent of a brewing storm that was about to break. By the time the court took a small break, the atmosphere had shifted into something even more dramatic. There were reports of a heated discussion behind the scenes where Cardi's team allegedly had to remind her of the importance of her body language in front of the jury. The emotional conflicts were surfacing in every corner of the building, from the high-priced attorneys to the casual onlookers who had waited all day for a glimpse of the rap star. The accusations of the trial are rooted in a night of supposed violence, but the story has evolved into a commentary on fame, power, and the limits of human endurance. As the afternoon continued, the transitions between witnesses and legal arguments became more blurred, matching the hazy state that Cardi was reported to be in. The reactions of the fans outside the courthouse remained intense, with chants and signs creating a backdrop of noise that occasionally filtered into the quiet hall of justice. The story was no longer just about a legal verdict. It was about the resilience of a woman who has built a life in the spotlight and the heavy price she is paying for that success as her private struggles become public spectacle. The plot thickens as reports from inside the courtroom suggest that while the world was focusing on Cardi B's heavy eyelids, her legal team was working double time to combat some of the most sensational accusations of her entire career. Insiders are whispering that during those long stretches of legal jargon, the rapper's mind might have been miles away, perhaps thinking about the first day of school for her children that she was reportedly forced to miss because of this trial. The emotional toll of choosing between her career responsibilities and her family duties is said to have weighed on her more than the actual $20 million price tag. Sources close to the star are claiming that the fatigue wasn't just physical, but a mental exhaustion from a case that has dragged on for over 7 years. The betrayal she allegedly felt by being dragged into court over an incident she describes as a simple verbal argument is a major theme in the gossip mill. Family drama is also swirling as rumors suggest her inner circle was divided on how to handle the media circus, with some wanting a more aggressive public defense, while others urged her to stay calm and let the lawyers do the talking. As the trial moved into its most critical phase, multiple dramatic twists kept the audience on the edge of their seats, including reports of a doctor who testified that the scratches on the plaintiff's face were highly suggestive of fingernail injuries. This revelation reportedly sent a shockwave through the defense camp, creating a moment of pure suspense that felt like it was ripped straight from a primetime television drama. Yet, even as these explosive claims were being made, the narrative of the sleepy superstar continued to grow. Some are saying it was a silent protest against a lawsuit she repeatedly called frivolous and a shakedown for her hard-earned money. The reactions of the fans remained a chaotic mix of support and skepticism, with some creating viral memes of her courtroom expressions, while others expressed deep concern for her well-being. The atmosphere was charged with the kind of energy you only find when a global icon is cornered, and every move was being interpreted as a sign of either total confidence or hidden desperation. The accusations of body shaming, racial slurs, and physical assault were being hurled like weapons, yet reports suggest Cardi remained remarkably unbothered in her demeanor, except for those moments where she seemed to be drifting off. Friends of the rapper have allegedly stated that she was absolutely drained from the constant travel and the pressure of being a mother while fighting for her reputation in a California courtroom. The personal stakes were not just about the money, but about the precedent it would set for other celebrities facing similar lawsuits. There are whispers that behind the scenes, there were heated arguments between the legal teams about the admissibility of certain evidence, including her past public controversies. The courtroom transitions were often interrupted by sidebars and breaks that only served to increase the anticipation of the final verdict. It felt like a chess match where every move was designed to trap the opponent into a mistake, and the entire rap community was watching to see if the queen would maintain her crown or fall to a devastating blow. As we look at the emotional conflicts involved, the story takes on a deeper meaning about the price of fame and the difficulty of finding privacy in a world that is always watching. Cardi's own testimony about being cornered while pregnant added a layer of vulnerability to the drama, contrasting sharply with the tough image she often portrays. The reactions of the jury were being monitored by every news outlet, with reports suggesting that they were just as tired of the 7-year-old saga as the parties involved. The twists and turns of the case, from the pin-throwing incidents mentioned in the hallway to the epic yelling matches described by witnesses, have made this one of the most sensationalized legal battles in recent memory. It is a story of accusations and resolutions that has left the family of her fans divided and the media in a constant state of frenzy as they wait for the final word on a trial that has redefined what it means to be a celebrity in the legal system. The atmosphere was so thick you could practically feel the electricity in the air as the trial finally moved toward its long-awaited conclusion. Reports are highlighting that the absolute exhaustion was no longer something Cardi B could hide, with the star herself later admitting that she was indeed fighting a losing battle against sleep while her life was being dissected by lawyers. The drama reached a fever pitch as the jury finally retreated to deliberate on the $20 million question that had kept the world in suspense for weeks. Back in the gallery, the whispers were endless, with everyone from legal experts to dedicated fans debating whether her sleepy appearance would be her undoing or if the jury would see the human side of a mother and artist pushed to her absolute limit. The personal stakes were so high because this wasn't just a trial about a night in a doctor's office. It was a battle for the very soul of her career during the most critical album rollout of her life. Family members were seen huddled in the hallways, their faces etched with the stress of a 7-year legal war that had finally come to a head. The accusations had been loud and the denials even louder, but the silence that fell over the courtroom while waiting for the verdict was the most dramatic moment of all. Multiple twists kept the narrative spinning until the very last second, especially when the news broke that the jury had reached a unanimous decision in record time. After only about an hour of deliberation, the room was once again filled with a heavy sense of anticipation as the world prepared for a result that would change everything. The resolution was as swift as it was explosive, with the jury finding Cardi not liable on every single count, effectively crushing the $20 million dream of the plaintiff and handing the superstar a total and complete victory. The reactions were instantaneous, with the courtroom erupting into a mix of relief and stunned silence. Fans were shocked by the speed of the win, and social media was flooded with clips of Cardi leaving the courthouse with the confidence of a woman who had just survived the ultimate storm. But even with the win, the emotional conflict didn't just vanish. Cardi was heard giving a stern warning to anyone thinking of filing a frivolous lawsuit in the future, promising to countersue and fight back with everything she has. The family was no longer divided by the stress of the trial, but united in a moment of triumph that felt like a scene from a movie. The aftermath of the trial has been just as sensational as the proceedings themselves, with the images of the sleepy superstar being turned into iconic album art for her latest project. The way she turned a moment of perceived weakness into a marketing masterclass has left the industry in awe of her business savvy. Betrayal and accusations might have been the foundation of the lawsuit, but the ending was a story of resilience and the power of a woman who refuses to be intimidated. The transition from the courtroom to the charts happened almost overnight, proving that in the world of high-stakes celebrity drama, even a nap can be a strategic move. People are still talking about the heated arguments and the dramatic testimony, but the image that will stick in everyone's mind is the moment the verdict was read and the $20 million cloud finally lifted. The journey from a nightclub altercation to a historic courtroom victory has been filled with more twists than a reality show, and the world is still reeling from the impact of seeing a legend stand her ground and walk away victorious. As the dust finally settles on this historic case, the legacy of the trial is being debated. In every corner of the entertainment world, the personal stakes have been settled and the financial threat is gone, But the conversation about how celebrities are treated in the legal system is just beginning. Cardi B's victory has set a precedent that will likely be cited for years to come, especially regarding the balance between private health and public fame. The emotions ran high from the first day to the last, and the resolutions found in that small California courthouse have resonated across the globe. The fans are more loyal than ever, celebrating the fact that their queen didn't just beat the case. She did it while remaining unapologetically herself, even if that meant nodding off during the closing arguments. It is a story of power, fatigue, and the ultimate vindication that has left everyone breathless and waiting to see what she does next now that the legal weight has been lifted from her shoulders for good. The courtroom doors have finally closed on this $20 million saga, but the conversation is just getting started across the entire world of entertainment. We have seen everything from heated legal battles and shocking accusations to the pure human exhaustion of a mother and superstar caught in a 7-year war. The reports of Cardi B nearly drifting off during the closing arguments have given us a rare and sensational look at the heavy price of fame and the physical toll of being a global icon. Now that the jury has spoken and the massive financial threat has vanished into thin air, we have to ask what you think about this wild turn of events. Do you believe the exhaustion was a sign of a hard-working woman pushed to her limit, or was it a strategic display of confidence in the face of a lawsuit she didn't fear? The family of fans is divided, and the industry is still buzzing with every dramatic twist that led to this historic resolution. Make sure to hit that like button if you found this deep dive into the legal drama as gripping as we did, and subscribe to the channel to stay updated on every explosive story hitting the headlines. Don't forget to drop a comment below with your honest opinion on the verdict and the courtroom nap heard around the world. We are reading every single one of your thoughts.